Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Drag Race RHAPup here on reality TV RHAPups. I'm your host, Liana Boraas, and we are here to talk about episode 10 of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 6, The Game Within a Game. It's finally here. We found out what it was and got at least most of the results. Let me bring in our fabulous panel to talk about all of the lip syncs that we saw on the, hold on, I want to get this right, RuPaul's Secret Redemption Lip Sync Smackdown, Secret Lip Sync Smackdown, whatever. Anyway, it's
for
fine.
Your nerves.
We're here. For your nerves, darling. If I'm Carson. All right, you just heard her voice. It is Beth Dixon. Beth, how are you?
I am good. And let me tell you, if I had to lip sync, I was motherfucking ready. No, I am like so excited to talk about these lip syncs and the twist as a whole. I thought this was actually a pretty fun episode, to be honest with you.
Yes. And we are always not alone. We have Aman Adwin. Aman, how are you?
I'm great. This was my spirit is so high off of this episode now. I just feel like a certain right has been wronged in this world, and I can move forward into the future just with a less heavy heart. So I feel great about this episode, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Okay, fabulous. I'm happy to hear you both be so positive about it because I'm not going to lie. When the episode first started and I had the realization that I was going to have to watch like 7 lip syncs, my heart just dropped out of me. I was just like, you can't make me do this. But then as they went along, I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. Oh, this is kind of fun. Like, Beth, maybe this isn't so bad.
Well, okay, so I think there's a few elements as to why this is better than like the season 13 premiere, which is basically you get full commentary of the queens that are still in the competition watching it. So like that's kind of fun. Like you're not only just seeing them in their confessionals talking about it like you would in any other lip sync for your life or lip sync for your legacy. You also have their like pure unadulterated like reactions like in the room. Like there are times where I kind of wish that the camera would like focus a little bit on the queens in the background of some of these lip syncs when they're standing in the back of the stage for this exact reason. So I think that really helped. And then on top of it, we were just fed with really great lip syncs, and Silky Nutmeg Ganache is just the MVP of this episode, hands down. She served us. She really did.
Yeah, that was definitely a surprise, Aman, especially after Silky's whole, I don't want to call it a debacle in the finale of her season, but, a little bit of a mess that was some of her lip syncs throughout her original season. But here, I mean, she has marched all the way to the end.
And that's why I keep saying, like, I feel a lot better now because, look, no scrubs will. I mean, there are a lot of offensive things that you can do in Drag Race. That's probably number one. I just feel like TLC did not deserve that. I'm so glad that none of the members were there to see that. And if people were sending them footage of that lip sync, I am sorry to them. Like, my heart goes out to them. And rest in peace, Lisa Lopez. You deserved more than that. Yeah, I feel like Silky really did her best to redeem herself, and I am definitely not going to continue to bash her name the way that I did when No Scrubs was one of the only examples of a Silky Nutmeg Ganache lip sync that was on the show. So good for Silky, man. Good for her.
I really do think that that's the top story at this hour is Silky. And she had a couple tweets about it. She was talking about how, because she had all these props, she said production didn't get me anything. I had all my drag in my room with me. I wanted to show my talents. Both people got to the lip sync at the same time. And then she said, FYI, all the props were made by me using my creativity. I wasn't allowed to bring any assistance. I had to bring it on stage myself. Which, and she said she treated every lip sync like a grand finale. And I do think that was the case. I think there's an argument that maybe you got a little propped out, but it was different each time. So after I kind of got over that first one, Beth, I was like, oh, wow, like she's here to play.
No, really, I think that what we got to see here was the kind of entertainer that Silky has always wanted to present to a larger audience on a larger platform. And I'm really proud of her. Like, and maybe that sounds like really condescending or something for someone who like doesn't do drag, is just like a podcaster talking about it and that kind of thing. But
For
good for her, honestly. But I'm one of the people that found her a little overbearing in season 11. I love that she still like looks at that footage and loves herself and says all this stuff was true. But what I also love about this is that there's she was able to translate, I think, the portions that were more about showmanship of like character in season 11 into just her pure talent that she has in All-Star 6. So I'm really excited for her to really show the world, this is the Silky that you get to see when you pay to come to my show. This is the Silky that you get to support when you pay for my merchandise or you tip me or you do whatever. Like, this is why you support queens, like, period.
That's another thing. She's redeemed herself in the eyes of, Drag Race, but also in like the eyes of like me as someone that did actually pay money to go see her whenever she was on tour with Brooklyn and I'm forgetting these queens' names for season 11, but a bunch of the season 11 girls went on tour. And I think I told the story already on this podcast about how she was like stalling for, I think maybe Brooklyn to come up next. So I guess Brooklyn was taking forever. One of her costumes, something went wrong. And so she made us sing the chorus to Killing Me Softly like 11 times in a row. Like, it's not over. Let's keep going. Yeah. And I'm like, Silky, you are on my last damn nerve. Like,
what would you have done if one of her lip sync songs was Killing Me Softly?
I would have killed myself softly. Like, no.
Oh my gosh, that's brutal. All right, let's get into all of the lip syncs from, of course, RuPaul's Secret Redemption Lip Sync Smackdown. Yeah, which the poor queens, the top four, the original top four, all have to sit there hoping to get out of drag. They go through the box, they go through the votes. All right, everybody picked, Eureka to go home. Not a whole lot to talk about there, and all of a sudden, the TV turns on, which I think it was Kylie who said, and I very much now in my slightly older, but not old, I'm still young, age, was, bitch, it's nighttime. we don't get calls this late. I was like, yes, I feel that. And we find out with Carson as our MC that it is the RuPaul's Secret Redemption Lip Sync Smackdown, which I want to get your guys' thoughts on this because this was, I think, probably if they were going to do some type of lip sync challenge competition kind of deal, I think this is the way to do it, where each week the queens after the episode, or I think actually logistically it ended up being like the week after, which we know is just like a couple days after, just based on who the guest judges were at the time. You can kind of like figure out when all of this happened. But they had to lip sync throughout the season as it was going on. So then when Eureka was eliminated, she was able to face, as we now know, Silky, who is the ultimate winner of all of the previous lip syncs. So very much the redemption island of RuPaul's Drag Race with the duels essentially every episode. So Aman, how did you feel that this format worked? What did you like about it? Not like?
Yeah, I was also apprehensive in the beginning when we found out that it was going to be a lip sync battle because I mean we've seen it on All Stars 4 and it can sort of like tend to become a little clunky at times. And I also think that season 4 just you sort of knew that certain queens were just not going to progress forward, so it really felt like we're just going to do this because we have to. This one, however, did feel like there was chance for redemption here for some of these queens. And so I did like this format. I liked to be able to see some of the guest judges actually come back. I wish that we saw more guest judge commentary, but it's going to be a long episode anyways. I think it's a longer episode, and so they got to condense as much as they can. But yeah, no, it was nice to be able to see all of the guest judges come back and watch them, like watch the eliminated queens really get a chance to react to, oh, you got eliminated, bitch. I did not expect to see you here. So all of that really made this, like the storytelling of this was done very well.
I completely agree. I also think one of the things, like kind of going back to a point that I made earlier, I like that the focus was on what the peers, the queens were thinking and not what the judges were thinking about the lip syncs. Like normally what we're getting are these kind of opinions about, not necessarily with the lip sync portion. It's always RuPaul. We get to see the reactions of the judges, but we don't get to see the reactions of the queens. So I do like that in a season where it's about impressing your peers, that we get to hear from the peers, from the colleagues, from the sisters. I'm here for it.
Yeah, with them giving commentary, and then it was also nice to have the interaction between the two queens that were going to be lip syncing towards one another, which I thought was really cute. Okay, well, let's get into all of the lip syncs that we have to talk about. The first is, of course, Serena Cha-Cha versus Jiggly Caliente, and they are going to be lip syncing to Free Your Mind by En Vogue. And again, at first I was like, no, they're going to waste a bunch of good lip sync songs and I have to watch so many lip syncs and I don't want to watch this. But then I was like, oh, this is actually kind of fun. Serena's got a good reveal. Like Jiggly's given it. She's got a lot of energy. So Beth, this started to bring my hopes up as I was watching this lip sync.
I think what we're also seeing too is the fire, the passion, the need to get back into the competition, and that inherently is going to make a better lip sync. There have been good lip syncs this season. I think that this season has been better in this way than a lot of other All-Star seasons. You're just like, okay, I can win $10,000, but I have to send somebody home. Or I can just put on a show and I'm safe. And there's not the urgency to do well, even with money on the line, versus like when you put queens that are like, I've already been voted out. I feel horrible. This is my chance to get back in. I actually think all of the songs had a lot of justification for the queens and their performance. And I don't think that any of the lip syncs were bad. This first lip sync, I thought both of them had great energy. I was actually kind of surprised by Serena Cha-Cha. I didn't know really what to expect from her. I felt like she was just a little too like manic. Yes. And I think that's literally what the issue for her ended up being, is that there was almost a disconnect for Free Your Mind in just like, it was like she freed her body. She freed her body, mind, and soul. She just went for it. And I was like, okay, that's entertaining. I would be throwing dollar bills at the club, but my God, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, I think that she started off really strong. I was like, oh, Jiggly, I think you're about to sashay away again, girl. But I think what lost Serena this lip sync was the moment she started walking to the back of the runway and then turned around and did sort of like this leapfrog dance move, sort of like some strange evolution of a duck walk. I was like, that's not really, you lost me there. You lost me, sis. I was there. I bought the ticket for the first half of this, but now I would like to go. You can have the rest of my popcorn. It just wasn't, it wasn't the tea. And then I feel like the shaking of the legs at the end was like, okay, now you were really giving us a nice tight performance in the beginning, and now you're leaning into like this comedy route. And I'm like, why? Because you were serving before. And I think Jiggly, while maybe her beginning portion of the lip sync was a little bit more subdued than Serena's, I think that it was like consistent. And she sort of built up, into the split in the end and all of that, and the hair tossing. So I think it just was a little bit more appealing to watch, even if it might have been a little bit more subdued than Serena's.
I think, the song is obviously very intense, but I do feel of the two, I would rather have Jiggly the sort of maybe a little bit lower, but still matched more consistently, like you're saying, the energy of the song. Whereas, Serena was very, I imagine shot out of a cannon. I would be too. Just sort of bringing everything and like throwing everything in the kitchen sink at the wall, hoping that something is going to stick here. But no, look, ultimately I had a lot of fun here. I think also one thing in general about the structure of this twist is I don't know if the girls knew how many lip syncs they were going to have to get through to go back into the competition, because for them they might be thinking, oh, I have to beat maybe 2 or 3 queens and then I'm coming back. Why would they bring somebody in style? Or even like, why would they bring somebody back at the final 4? Because that's so long from now. So I'm sure you have the energy thinking like, oh, I just have to get through. Because I'm not gonna lie, if I was Serena and Jiggly, I'd be like, I have to do, Silky proved it's possible, but I was thinking myself, if I have to do 7 lip syncs to get back into the competition, not having been there, I essentially feel like you have no chance to win. I would not be bringing this amount of energy, but they both did. So kudos to them. It was really enjoyable and a lot of fun.
Definitely. As a side note, whenever I hear Free Your Mind, I think of the Glee mashup with Free Your Mind and Stop in the Name of Love.
That's what I thought of as well. I almost texted my friend Matt, our friend Matt Lagori about that. I forgot to.
I was sitting here going, "Where's the stop?" Oh wait, no, that's the mashup.
Yeah,
Like,
that's not the original
I've
song.
Brainwashed by Glee, just brainwashed.
All right, let's talk about the lip sync that is coming up next, and that is, of course, Jiggly versus Silky. And so this is the first moment that we see Silky and her props, Aman, with the whole making of an entire drink. I think the commentary was like, she's got a whole wet bar in there.
Yeah, that's. I loved when Trinity said, like, you gotta take her to the club. They ain't never gonna check her titties.
Yeah.
How many other women? Because I'm sure this is not a new thing. Like, I'm sure plenty of women with assets have snuck things into. Because I mean, I've seen it happen. So, yeah, no, this was, first of all, the look was wonderful. Once again, I'm always going to show some love to bigger queens that find outfits or make outfits that show, bitch, like, just because I'm bigger doesn't mean I can't look sickening. And so, for one, I just loved the shape of it. So when she walked out, it was like, all right, she's back, baby. She's ready for this. And I kind of had the feeling that she might beat Jiggly anyway. So I really wasn't expecting a lot from Silky. I mean, not that I wasn't expecting her to do well. It's just like, well, she probably might have this in the bag. So let's see what happens. So the fact that she did go the extra mile and she worked it out with the timing of the song perfectly, because, you know, she did it while there was just an instrumental part. And I think that's obviously the moment when she wins. And I think that's the moment when Jiggly loses, because granted, we didn't get to see a lot from Jiggly during that because the camera was strictly on the bartender. But I feel like Jiggly didn't do enough like dancing or carrying on for the judges to even want to consider, all right, maybe we can give this to Jiggly. So yeah, Silky really bodied this lip sync, and it was well with the song. Girls just want to have fun. Bitch, I'm just gonna pour me a drink. Like, it was perfect. And she drank that entire thing. She poured a lot of liquor in that class. Like,
sure did. I also love that apparently the song Girls Just Want to Have Fun means leopard cheetah print. Yeah, that's what you wear to perform in. I'm here for it. When Silky came out, I was like, oh, the girls got the memo. Okay, here we go. And
Jiggly's line of, oh, it's two fat bitches in leopard print.
I was dead. This to me, I know a lot of people, and we'll get to it, are like laugh the most about like Silky and Jan going back and forth, but like, I laughed so hard at just like their one-liners to each other or to the judges beforehand. And I think that's the other part of this that I really enjoyed for this episode, was that we had these moments of them being like just real and fun and just happy to have another moment and have these interactions. We don't get to see that before a lip sync for your life. They're silent, and RuPaul's doing their, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, that was fun. That added to this, I think, in my opinion. But I agree with everything Aman said about the lip sync.
Especially for Silky too, because I mean, she went home. A large part of the reason why she went home is because she felt like she sort of had to mute herself a little bit because she was afraid of all the hatred she was going to get after the season. And so it did really feel like this time around, she was, you know, giving it to the judges, giving it to her competitors, being a little shady, having fun. Like, it felt a little bit more like the season 11 Silky that some of us all know and love and hate. So yeah, I was glad to see that as well.
It's hard to know. Okay, so there's the timing, right, of also when some of the confessionals are filmed, because I know that Silky had commented on the fact that she had pulled it too far back, and she talks about it even with the lip sync. And so I think that almost having the time to be eliminated, come back, and then realize, okay, to self-evaluate what my mistake was, to recognize that she pulled too far back, I think is super impressive. So then she knew coming into the lip sync, you know what, this is my last chance. Like, F it, let's just go for it. I'm bringing all the drinks in the titties, and I'm just gonna make it on stage. So very, very fitting, and I thought this was a lot of fun.
Definitely.
I love the part of the lip sync where she's taking the drink when technically she should still be lip syncing, but she just uses her hands to go in the rhythm of the song. It's like, bitch, I know the words. I'm just taking a drink. Like, I was like, yes. Come on, Valentina.
I loved it.
Okay, well, Silky is, of course, ends up winning that lip sync and goes on to face Yara Sofia. Now, Yara is an interesting queen for me because she's someone who I I don't necessarily think of as a strong lip sync performer, but I think of her as a strong performer.
Mhm.
So I thought that this was definitely going to be interesting because I think if I remember correctly, she lost her only lip sync on her first season, season 3, and then season 1 was just a mess with like the tag teaming lip syncs. I don't even count that. But Beth, how do you think these two queens stood up against one another?
I think this was actually one of the weaker lip syncs of the night. I was just kind of underwhelmed all the way around. I did think that Silky won. This was the point of no return, right?
Yes, point of no return. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I think part of this for me is that I love when they did this the first time and it was Darian versus Ben de la Creme. Like, I think of Darian collecting the tips and doing all these like little things and like really knowing the song. And I felt like Silky channeled more of that energy. I just kind of felt like maybe this just wasn't a good song for Yara. I don't know. But just, I don't know. I just kind of felt a little underwhelmed for, I still enjoyed it. I felt that Silky won. I wasn't upset by that. But I also think that Yara this season is like every time that she performed or had to lip sync, it was like she went home in the episode for the Super Bowl, right? So that was lip syncing. And then, so like there's a disconnect with her face, I think, sometimes when she's lip syncing, or she's like relying on comedy. And this song didn't really have a lot of comedy, or the way that she approached it. Like, it's not like she always hits her boobs. I don't get that.
This thing.
And I'm like, listen, if you are blessed with tatas, that is something we just don't do.
It hurts.
It hurts. Don't do it.
When Amanchi also tried with the, playing her vajayjay also, which I felt took a long time. Like, she played it for far too long.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not a woman, so I can't really speak as a woman, but I don't know. It kind of like leaned a little bit into the offensive territory for me, or maybe I was just like a little creeped out by it. Like, I just was like, maybe like 3 seconds of it would have been like, that's funny. But she did take I'm like, that is a very ferocious and aggressive itch. Like,
what did Raja say? Raja said something along the lines of like, you better step your pussy up while you scratching it on the floor or something.
Yes, yeah. Or it was like Silky stepping her pussy up while Yara is scratching it or something like that.
I died.
Girl, what's going on here? I don't know. And like the reveals were, I think from both of them weren't that grand. I feel like, as far as Yara is concerned, it was about, the body, yada, yada, which of course she always looks stunning. But I do think Silky's reveal does edge hers out only because the outfit that she's wearing is so much more functional for this song. Yes, your body is beautiful, Yara, but like, that's a little bit boring when you have someone that has all this fringe and she's like working it and shaking her hips and snapping her neck. Like, it's just giving me the energy of this song where you're giving me like Sex Kitten, which is what you tend to lean into all the time. And then you start scratching the vagine. So I'm just like, all right, well, thanks, Yara. I also feel like Yara just was a little bit, I feel like she really didn't want to be there. Like, that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. I mean, it felt like even, when she was eliminated and she like jokingly like started running when RuPaul popped up on the screen, I was like, I feel like there's like a little bit of truth in jest. And I feel like she was kind of already over it. And I feel like during the lip sync, she probably felt like she wasn't going to win. And so she sort of like phoned it in towards the end. I think she even said something on Instagram about it as well. And she pretty much was being shady to Silky, saying like, congrats on your win, girl, but like you had a lot of props and stuff, whereas I didn't have all of that stuff and that's why you won, but congrats. Like, I was like, all right.
I mean, she just had the water that she poured on herself. I mean, in this lip sync specifically.
Yeah. No, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Not everybody can scratch their private parts for 3 minutes. So
yeah, it's a good stretch. That's what I hear. Silky takes down her next opponent and then goes on to face Scarlet Envy. So this is the Song for the Lonely, Cher, of course, classic. And I mean, Silky gets another win. And I'm not gonna lie, this moment, because I felt Serena took it well, I felt Jiggly took it well, I felt Yara also kind of didn't want to be there. Scarlet looked devastated, Beth.
Yeah. No, she really did. I want to just take a second and say Scarlet looked so good.
Oh my God.
That makeup, that hair, that body. I'm like, she looked good. I mean, I really think I really feel for Scarlet. I feel like she was safe the entire season, but there were multiple times that even on this podcast, we were like, she should have been in the top, like not that she necessarily should have won some of the challenges, but she was really consistent. She had, granted, this was earlier in the season, but she had a Eureka style track record of like being safe. We felt like she should have been high a couple times. And then she's just eliminated the first time she gets critiques on something that I don't know if she was really the weakest in that pink table, round table thing. So then if you're Scarlet feeling like I was eliminated when I really shouldn't have been, and I was really strong and all those different kinds of things, you come out here. And I thought she did do a good job of trying to, evoke the song and emote a little bit. But Silky just had it. I don't know. There's just something that Silky had to really just like outpace her in the song. I don't know. I can absolutely understand how devastated she would be. I think that she really felt like this is my turn to come back into the competition and I'm going to kill it.
Yeah, I don't think Scarlet's elimination in this season is definitely one that I probably disagree with probably the most. So it does feel very much like, why does she even have to prove herself? So on that end, I was sort of rooting for her to beat Silky, but something that Silky said after the episode was like, look, like there were some of these songs that were like not in my wheelhouse, so I really had to find a way to still shine in a song that's not necessarily built for me. And I think bringing the props is how she got there. And so it does sort of edge Scarlet out when Scarlet is delivering on the sheerness of it all. She is, but when you got someone that's also a really good performer and emoter, and then on top of that, they have a prop that they're swinging around to the beat of the music, it's like, okay, well, you're going to be looking at Silky more. So, yeah, I don't think that Scarlet did a bad job. And it does suck. I feel like this legacy, I feel like she needs another All-Stars run because I feel like she got even more screwed this season. So I'm like, But, I mean, as Silky also said, because people were coming at her saying like, oh my God, like you had time to prepare. She's like, she had the same amount of time that Scarlet did. So yes, she knew that she was going to be there longer because she kept winning, but it's not like Scarlet didn't have an equal opportunity to figure out what she wanted to do. So
and this also proves that like Silky came prepared and packed for various different things that she could bring for the lip syncs if she were to win, right? Or that she could do in different challenges. And I'm sure that she made some of these things, but like you don't just like make a color guard flag. Like you would have brought that with you, right? So I think that there's some things like that guitar was definitely handmade. We'll get to that in a few minutes, but like there's things that like she clearly had packed to prepare for Drag Race and they came in clutch.
Right. Well, so we know that they get a list of the lip sync songs. So I wonder if they were given these as well. So for example, the Barbie girl lip sync, we'll talk about it. I feel that was something that she had to have brought. And so, or I assume that she brought, I mean, it's possible she made it, but I think she probably brought it because she knew that would have been a possible lip sync song that would have happened just as a normal, like, oh, you win the competition. And if she's in the top, then she wants to be able to have an outfit prepared to do that and have a gag for it. That's the thing that I assume, which, I mean, again, that's like you have to be prepared ahead to bring all of these types of drag. So
we do give them a list of not only the lip sync songs, but also like what some of the potential categories are, but they don't give them like, they're not like, hey, it's going to be a fringe category. It's going to be sequin. They don't do that. They'll be like something sparkly. Like, I mean,
well, like sometimes they'll change. They'll change too. Yeah. So we hear queens talk about, oh, that's why I brought something to look more like this, because originally what we were told was, this specific prompt. So
exactly.
So they have to be able to adapt on the fly as well. It's not just about, bringing what
and not to mention, they have to bring extra things for mini challenges or for acting challenges and things that they're not aware of what they're going to be for characters or whatever. So there's a lot of drag that these people are bringing, and maybe they're tailoring their costumes and such as well in the hotel rooms.
Well, I think Simone on her season said she brought 40 different complete looks, and there's only 12 runways. So and I think that was like just a runway look. So anyway, so you end up becoming prepared for all of this. Because I assume Scarlet, looks stunning, brought that because she thought she would have used it later at some point. So
yeah.
Okay, well, Silky wins. Silky's able to bring it home. That's 3 in a row now for Silky. And we're told that she is going to face Akira. But Akira made the choice to not participate. So, and I think she said, which then we get a Silky lip syncing against herself moment, which I was happy that she did. But I thought this was look, I respect Akira's choice because I think your mental health has to come first. And she said something that I saw on the internet. Apparently at a Roscoe's watch party, Akira mentioned that sometimes production just doesn't want you to make it beyond a certain point. And what, the person said, well, whether that's true or not, I believe that Akira was done with the show and would rather decline. And after also seeing Scarlet's world get shattered again, Aman, I was just like, oh, okay, I totally get this decision for you.
Yeah, I've typically always been one that has previously been extremely hard on reality TV contestants that decide to quit. It just, something in my spirit just always irks every time it happens, because there's so many people that want to be there and you're getting a shot to do it again and you're leaving. Why? But the way that some of these fans operate in this community, I don't put it past some contestants just being tired and they just rather go back home, and they're over it, and it's just not worth all of the extra bullshit that you might have to put yourself through just to participate in the competition. So I totally get it, girl. If you needed to go, you needed to go. And quite frankly, she was probably going to lose, because what we end up seeing Silky doing,
yeah.
I really don't see how Akira could have beat Silky
this.
here.
I know.
No.
I was dying. I literally, I was so compelled to be like, I need to put this on the Instagram story, just purely my reaction to what is happening with Silky, because I loved it so much.
Yeah, this is the Barbie girl lip sync. So, Silky comes out, they do the whole, the curtain pulls up, there's no one there. They tell her Akira declined. And then Silky is adamant, I would love to lip sync. Please, no, please. And she's covered in this. Clearly, it's going to be a reveal of some type. This is something I did not expect. I should have, but I didn't. And so now I 100% understand why she was so adamant about wanting to lip sync by herself. Totally. Because if I put this much work into a gag, damn it, I'm going to show it off.
Yes.
I also just generally feel like good for her for being like, I recognize that I'm not here doing all these maxi challenges. I'm treating this like a maxi challenge. I want to show you that I'm taking this seriously. I had a lot of respect for that. And I was happy that the other queens had a lot of respect for that too. It would have been very easy for them to be like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Kind of write it off. This was great.
This to me this was the strongest case that she makes for herself, that if she were to win after being eliminated for so many episodes ago, that she is a true contender for this crown. Yeah. This to me was this was the literal definition of a redemption. What she did here, all on her own as well. I think this is one of few lip syncs that we see on the show where it's just one person on the stage, and for her to be as captivating as she was through a very simple concept. Because let's be real, this split, fashion thing is something that we've seen on Drag Race. It's something that we've seen in Hollywood. It's not an entirely new thing, but what she was able to do with it was what really made her shine here. And I love moments during lip syncs where Michelle Visage and RuPaul look at each other just overcome with are you seeing what I'm seeing now, bitch? Because those two have been here for the longest time. And so for them to still be excited to be judging this, to be on that judging panel and to see the stuff on that stage, that's where I'm like, okay, I'm all in, because she just really went for it. And I think what really just made it so funny was when she started having sex with herself on the floor.
Oh my God. It was
and the fact that she had to roll over each time so that the illusion was still there. And she got so tired at the end that it was just okay. You would be tired because you're having sex. So it just I just could not take my eyes off of this. I was gagged the entire time. I was like, you really, really want this crown. You want to be here. And I love seeing that kind of energy from contestants. So just hands down, the lip sync of the episode, all on her.
100%. It was so good.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that I really appreciated here too was I watched some of her commentary, and I think this takes a lot of gall to say this, but I watched some of her commentary when she was at the Roscoe's watch party about talking about specifically Akira, and she said, I don't hold this against Akira at all. She had to do what she had to do. And what I really appreciate about Silky saying is we have new camera crew, we have a new set, we have new production members, we have all these new things. We need a new judges panel. And I was like, oh. And she called them out, and she was like, you are not updating your standards, and you're keeping some people like Akira down, and you're not updating your challenges, and you're not updating these things to keep up with the trends that are actually happening out in the drag world.
Girl.
And she goes, and Raja was there too. She goes, and I know Raja can't say anything because she's still in the competition. Raja's going, ah!
Get me out of here. Get me out of here.
And she's like trying to slide off the stage and everything. But like, I just encourage people, first of all, I never like to figure out who's going to be at the Roscoe's like watch party, because that episode is about that person. Either they're going home, they're winning, or something big is happening or they win the challenge or something like that, right? So when I found out Silky was on for this week, I was like, oh, I bet she goes far then with the lip syncing. And I was right. But then I watched it and I was like, shit, she really like came for the judges panel. I kind of appreciate that because I share some of those sentiments. I don't know if I would have said that while I'm still on the season. It also makes me kind of wonder about this like Eureka versus Silky thing. But I like that she stood up for Akira and she stood up for, this is and for Jan. She stood up for Jan too. And she said, these are the things that you're doing to some of these queens' mental health.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was speaking of Jan, I know they have a lot of great interactions on Twitter of actually both of them supporting each other, which I think was really nice to see.
Yeah, I did not know this. I'll have to go back and watch the Roscoe's episode. I watched the one a couple of weeks ago when I think she was eliminated, and the way that she was just so down about the entire experience. I had the way that she talked about it, I was like, and you came back and did this? Like,
right.
Damn, like it couldn't have been that bad, girl. Like, look what you just did for yourself. And so I was shocked. I think that's another thing that just added to like my shock and confusion and just like overall getting my lifeness, because I was just like, oh my God, like I wouldn't have expected this. Man, I that's very ballsy of her to say. I don't think that she's necessarily wrong either. I mean, I think that, I think you should, maybe what the judging panel needs is like another permanent host that's maybe a little younger, that is a little bit more in tune with what's going on in the likes of like LA and the South and in New York City with all of these different drag scenes, like how it's evolving, because it is evolving. It's a lot different from when RuPaul was coming up. So I think that that's definitely a good suggestion. So yeah, I don't think she necessarily said anything wrong, but I am shocked that she.
I was like, damn, she really came for it. What?
She went ahead and got them lip sync checks and then singing like a canary.
And in the style and words of Raja, oh my God. I was like,
Okay, let's talk about the next lip sync, which is Jan versus Silky. If you're watching the video version, I had a picture of Silky. It was actually from a different lip sync because it was very challenging to get pictures here. Anyway, so this is Heartbreaker. Love the song. Very with Jan coming out looking pissed AF. I had no idea what to expect, Beth.
I will say that Barbie Girl entertained me the most. I loved the lip sync and made the episode. This was the best battle of a lip sync. I felt like Jan and Silky really brought it. And I think Jan should have won. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Silky won because of the guitar prop, which I love that, like, I think it's Ginger goes, where'd she get a guitar? Bitch, it was on the floor before it even started. Like, it was on the floor. Like, that's the first thing I clocked when she came out in that huge, like, outfit. I was like, oh, and there's a guitar on the floor. This must be a rock song. Like, I literally already knew that. But I felt like what helped Jan in this particular lip sync is we know Jan is known for being 110% over the top, intense. There's like, blah, blah, blah. That's what Heartbreaker is. I mean, you can't do Pat Benatar and not bring that kind of like da 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 da. Like, I mean, there's just like there's something there. So her facial expression was going to match the song. On top of the fact that she's pissed, she's dressed in all black, she's whipping her hair around, she's doing everything she needs to do. This was the time where I started to get like, okay, I know there's a reveal. I know there's going to be something here. I need Silky to bring the intensity of the song like Jan is doing. And I felt like until she brought the guitar out, it was like a KO for me.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Aman, where do you fall on the who should have won this lip sync?
I think that I think Silky won here. I think that it's a little bit more than just the guitar. I think because I mean I feel like I can pinpoint in exactly each lip sync where it was that Silky came out on top. For this one, I think it's the moment that Jan starts watching Silky also perform. Like, if you are also watching your opponent, like she's like seeing the air guitar and then she's looking at like Silky like shit, and you saw it on her face, and I'm like, if you're doing that, then you already lost. Like, it's over. And I feel like I think that Silky, yes, she has the guitar. The prop is one thing, but the way that she actually handles the prop, and it gets a little bit more like absurd as she starts playing it with her tongue, and then she does the classic bang, 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 and then throws it off the stage in tune with the song. I'm like, all right, well, and like, look, this was like the most conflicting one for me as well, because like I've been saying all season long, y'all didn't play this girl. Y'all have been playing mind games with this girl for episode after episode after episode. And I felt every ounce of anger in her face as she came out on that stage, and she was determined to win. And then all of a sudden there's this like banter between her and Silky even wins in that because she says some weird ass fisting. It's just like, she's so pissed off that she ends up losing. And it's like, I just feel so bad because she deserves to be there, but she got edged out again here, and it's kind of her fault this time, but I feel bad because she shouldn't be there at the beginning. I don't know.
Man. So for me, this was more, I felt that the messy hair reveal and the breaking of the light slide that Jan did at the very beginning when she like runs back. I don't know. Maybe it was just like I needed to watch it a few more times to really see how the hair like got revealed, but I felt like it was a little messy. She crashes into the lights at the front, and it was just those little details that I think if things like that had gone, she'd been able to just pull back a little bit. And I think it's probably because she was so frustrated. I think then that would have made Jan to me the winner more clearly, at least, because like I said, like you said, Beth, like she really did have that energy, that like manic energy that captured. But I think those little things, and then Silky also had the energy too. So it's like, it's tough to compare, but this one, I could have seen this one going either way.
Yeah. This was the best battle for sure.
This was the best battle. I felt Jan was just going to lose anyway, because that's just like, I was already defeated because that's just Jan's MO on the season, unfortunately, because the judges, don't value her in the same way. But yeah, Jan was so mad.
She was so mad. She was mad.
Oh man.
And I feel for her. And I still have so much respect for her because, like you said earlier, she is showing so much support to Silky. Even if she does deep down in her mind believe, you know what, I should have won that lip sync, she's not going to be out here and be shady. And she's like, making sure that she's like, if I see anybody say anything rude about Silky in any mentions, you're getting blocked. And I'm like, you know what? Props to you, sis. Props to you, sis, because that's a really, you've had to swallow so many pills in this game, and you are still being a true professional. So, if I ever have the opportunity to go to a Jan show, I'm throwing money. I am, because the girl deserves it.
Absolutely. And that's where here, even she proved that she is such a good performer, and is really able to lip sync the house down. And it's just unfortunate that her road had to end here.
I have to say, I wish we get more classic rock songs, because every time we've had someone like Hart or, Pat Benatar or whoever, like, we get some really great lip syncs out of it, and they're high energy and such. So more of that and less of boom clap. y'all.
All right. Well, we're getting focused by Ariana Grande. So sorry, Beth.
Yeah,
that's our next lip sync.
Because when I think Pandora box, I think
know what I
Focus
think.
by Ariana Grande.
Yes. So this is Pandora versus Silky, and Pandora looks stunned. Silky also looks stunned though, and I loved this homage to Ariana Grande. I felt very Ariana inspired with her look here, so I thought that was very fitting. And I will say though, it was the other queen's commentary that sent me. It was at the beginning of the lip sync when they realized it was Pandora versus Silky, and they go, "Oh, well, if it's something in Pandora's wheelhouse," the shade of that.
Let's hope it's there's no business like show business coming up here.
Exactly. Can we get some Carol Channing up in here? That's really all we're. Oh, I felt so bad for Pandora, but she looked gorgeous.
She did, and she was rocking a little bit of like some Dangerous Woman era stylings of Ariana Grande and her look. So, and I think that she did exactly what she could have done with this lip sync. I love the comedy gag of the focusing around her eyes and all of that. But it's not music that I think that Pandora is listening to on the regular, so it's harder for her to make that connect and that connection with it. So yeah, I knew that this was probably going to be a bit of a gimme for Silky, but I mean, at the same time, it's like, I feel like she deserves a little bit of a gimme after all the stunts that she's pulled.
Seriously.
For the past like 4 lip syncs. So it sucks to see Pandora go once again, but I don't necessarily know if her entering back into the competition was really going to give us anything that we really needed to see from her. I think that she's given us all that she can at this point. And so I think that this is sort of just like par of the course with Pandora. So.
Yeah, Beth, what do you think here for these two queens? You happy with the decision?
Yeah, I was happy with the decision. The only thing I didn't like about Silky's lip sync wasn't about the lip sync itself. It's like her right, like, breast thing was like underneath her boob at one point, and I was just like, what's going on here?
Wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah. But I have to say, I loved this outfit. It was giving me Ariana Grande. Like it was, she really turned it out. This isn't something that I necessarily think of like Silky wearing. And when she came out there, I was like, oh, you should wear more of this. This looks really cute. I loved it. And I thought she just captured the song. This was definitely a gimme, like Aman said.
Yeah.
I don't know how she did that to herself, but she just like flops on her back like that. I was like, oh my God. Like,
I'm just like, my back is broken.
Okay, I can flop on my bed and it will hurt. Like, so there's no way. Like, I could be like, boom, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not getting out for 3 days. But like, that was like impressive.
I remember her doing something similar to that in their final, in season 11, their final song performance. What was it? It's the one where Brooklyn Heights is like, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, bitch, I'm on point, literally. Yeah. The potato tornado, whatever. Anyway, so Silky does like a thing where she like gets thrown back and then just thrown forward by the backup dancers. And I've always been obsessed with that moment because I just like don't know how she does that. I'm very impressed. So yeah. Okay. Silky wins. And Silky is on to the very final lip sync versus Eureka. So this is the only one that we know happens immediately after the elimination, because from the week prior, we know that Eureka was backstage and essentially told, okay, go to the main stage because you're going to lip sync for your life right now. And we see her put on this bodysuit. We see her put on this wig. So we know that this must be directly after. Also, I think Charlie XCX is still there. So like it makes sense with the
and
timing.
Also she has the same makeup on.
And she has the same makeup on. Yes. So this one, we don't know the results of yet. So I want to get the predictions from the panel. Aman, what do you think? If you had to guess who won the lip sync, and this is since you've been gone, Kelly Clarkson, between Eureka and Silky, who do you think should come back into the competition?
I'm devastated by it. I think Eureka won here, and not because Eureka really did anything spectacular. I feel like we've seen these moves from Eureka a lot. I think she does that split and then twirls on the ground. Like we've seen that she's done that literally so many times. But I think that she won here because of the fact that Silky's costuming was like, it was a malfunction, and I don't think there's any way that they can award her a win here, and it really sucks considering the trajectory that she had all the way up until this point. And this is the moment where like the props finally end up working against you. It was such weird synchronicity that the two of them both used this performance to talk about their mothers. I was like, was this like in the notes? Did they tell you guys to do this? Like, it was just kind of strange.
Yeah.
I liked that, she was trying to pay homage to her mother and talk about her weight loss journey and all of that. I think that was great. And I think that it probably could have worked if the thing didn't malfunction the way that it did. But I don't know if that matches up with the song. And rest in peace to Eureka's mother. No disrespect intended at all. But I was like, that was a kind of a weird choice as well. But I mean, I guess it makes a little bit more sense in Eureka's sense because her mother is actually gone and the song is about since you've been gone. So it's sort of like, I don't know. And Eureka also had a bit of a malfunction. Like her wig was coming off. So we know how RuPaul feels about wigs. So yeah, it sucks, but I think Eureka's going to end up coming back, which you can make the argument, fine. Like she just got eliminated, so it's only fair that she gets to stay by virtue of beating out all the other girls anyway. But then you have this big ass comeback from Silky that you want the payoff to happen, and now we're not going to get it. So it sucks.
All right, Beth, where do you fall?
I agree. I think this to me was actually very obvious that Eureka won. I didn't think Silky embodied the song at all. It looked like she just struggled with her costume the entire time. I don't even get what this costume reveal was supposed to be and how it would fit with this song. Like it was like the one time that I really think that whatever she was trying to do just didn't get translated well. On top of the fact that there was a malfunction. I get where Eureka's coming from with the song. I also you have to be able to give Eureka, she just got eliminated. She just got told to get back on stage. Her wig is probably not glued down the way it needs to be. Hasn't had the time to set, whatever the case might be. She threw on a different outfit. She's probably feeling all these different emotions. I think that it's pretty clear that a lot of this All-Stars run has been in honor of her mother. So when she gets eliminated, she's immediately thinking about her mom. And now there's this song that kind of like, I'm doing this for my mom to prove that I can get back in the competition. This is her honor. I love her. I miss her. Those kind of things. There was an intensity about Eureka in her face, in her emotions, how she ended the song. Like that, regardless of the moves that she made, I didn't care really for any of the moves that were made, but I cared about the intensity of which I got the song from Eureka. I got lost. Silky got lost to me. And I agree. I think it was really sad because I think it would have been really epic.
Yeah.
Ultimately, this is going to be RuPaul's like biggest Sophie's choice of all time. Like, do you want to bring back Eureka or Silky? Tell the fandom which one you like more out of these two characters that have traditionally not been well liked that you are obsessed with. So I can't wait to see what happens. I will say, regardless of whoever comes back, I'll be happy for it because I do think that both of them have redeemed themselves a lot in this season in terms of the kinds of how they've acted with other queens, what they've done for their talents. I love the idea of Silky coming back and really making a case for herself. And I also do think that Eureka's done really well in this competition. She got eliminated for being too consistently strong, essentially. She didn't get in the bottom until that episode. Meanwhile, you have Trinity, who's been in the bottom 3 times. You have Ginger, who's been in the bottom 2 times, but has had wins underneath her belt. You have Sonique, who only has 1 win and has 2 bottoms at this point. So there's a case to be made that was Eureka really the person who should have gone home just because she didn't have a win when she's been in the top or safe the entire time. So I'm happy for whoever comes back.
I think, to me, I echo what the two of you are saying. I do think that if I had to make the decision, I would pick Eureka as the ultimate winner because of the issue with Silky. The story was, I get what she was trying to say. It was her mom. So she had the food. She got rid of the food. She started working out. She lost the weight. She's she's proud of her mom, right? Yeah. What?
Sorry to interrupt. But the moment where she throws that chip down and starts stomping on it, and Eureka looks down like, "Bitch, what are you doing?"
I need that.
That's so good.
Yeah, she's like stomping it out like a cigarette. She's like,
Like, I'm over here like really missing my mom right now. You're over here stomping on chips. What are you doing, girl?
In an inflated sumo costume. Anyway, I think like the story that Silky was trying to tell, I get it, I got it.
Mhm.
The since you've been gone, is that supposed to be the weight
Yeah,
loss?
like
The weight since you've been gone, the weight? I don't know. I didn't like quite get it. I don't know what song though this would have gone to if that was what she was trying to do. But yeah, the wardrobe
Girls
malfunction.
just wanna have fun.
Yeah, like, yeah, we're gonna work out.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
everything else felt like so much more like good and well thought out. So this was just such a strange way to end it all, Silk. Like, I don't know why you did this. I mean, I you know, and I no disrespect to your mom, and I think that that's a wonderful thing that you're trying to portray. I think that you have to be smart about when you do that, and I don't think this was the smartest decision. But you know, I'm ultimately I'm thinking that I'm kind of glad that this is on a cliffhanger, because now I'm able to sort of like emotionally prepare myself to see her go next week. And I think ultimately she did what she had to do with all these lip syncs. I think that the story of Silky Nutmeg Ganache on Drag Race has effectively been, I think that she's got the biggest redemption out of any of these queens, no matter even the winner of this season, just based off of just how she was able to turn everything around in such a strong way. So I Silky Nutmeg Ganache, man, you did that, girl. You really did.
I mean, preach. And that's the thing is that narratively speaking, I am totally fine with Eureka coming back into the competition, because I felt that Eureka still probably has more to show because of all the things that Beth mentioned. And then similarly to you, Aman, like Silky fought her freaking way back from the third queen eliminated to make it all the way here, kicked butt, had a number of really
5 people.
Yes, and arguably potentially 6, right? If you include the Barbie girl lip sync. So to me, I think she can look. If I was her, you could look back and be so proud of what you were able to accomplish. I think there's a lot of fans who are really impressed with what she was able to do. So if you're really trying to correct some issues with your legacy, I think this has done that and then some. And I'm happy about it.
Sidebar, Randy, do I get points for all these lip sync wins?
I want to know that too, because the other thing, I also
that's why I want Eureka to come back.
No, Randy, we need some clarification here, because like for our panel here, Aman deserves those points 100%. But in the other one, that it's me, Puya, Liana, and you, I deserve the points for Silky there. So yeah. Yes.
Oh my God. Has he put out the numbers for the draft?
He has not.
Okay, Randy. Well, we're waiting.
Listen, I am not doing well.
A win is a win, okay?
I am not doing well in the 3 of us, so I've already just said it's a wash. There's no way I'm going to win this one. I could decently come back here for the Liana, Puya, me, Randy one if you award the points for Silky. So,
oh gosh. All right. Well, we'll see who ultimately ends up taking it. Yeah, to put to remind people of who we had in the draft. So Aman has Raja and Kylie, and then Silky as well. And then Akira. Beth still has Ginger Minj in the competition. I have Trinity, and then potentially Eureka if Eureka comes back into the competition. So yeah, we shall see. Well, next week we are going to find out who ultimately wins between Silky and Eureka. And then I assume, just going to jump right on into the next Maxi Challenge, which is going to be the styled after the vagina monologues, the charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent monologues. So my assumption is that the winner of the lip sync, that final lip sync, either Eureka or Silky, will hop on in, and then we'll essentially repeat the final 5, going down again then at the end of next week's episode to the final 4, leaving us the final 4 for the finale episode, because this was episode 10, I believe. So then we'll have episode 11 and episode 12 as the finale, but we shall see what ends up happening. Wow. That does it for us, though, here on this very day. The Game Within a Game is over, and we're ready to wrap up the rest of this season. Beth, where can people find you on social media? What else are you up to?
People can find me at AugustaWind11, as well as on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/AugustaWind11. I'm still doing my weekly meltdown covering BB23, as well as Hot Mess Moments covering The Nanny and Lost. We covered the season finale of The Nanny last week. We are doing 3 episodes. I watched them all last night to finish up Lost season 1, and wow, thoughts. So feel free to subscribe to those if you are interested in hearing any of my coverage about them.
And Aman, what about you? Where can people find you? What else are you up to?
You can find me everywhere at Aman Adwin. Still doing some Twitch stuff with Harry Potter. And good old friend Matt Lagori is winding down from his busy ass summer. So we actually will start recording a couple more episodes of The Quiet Room. So you can always check that out anywhere you get your podcasts.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Liana RHAP, doing Saturday morning updates with Taryn. And then Puya and I were on the recap from last Wednesday for Big Brother. If you'd like to leave star ratings and reviews for us on iTunes, you can go to the easy link of robhaswebsite.com/drag race. That'll take you to the iTunes page where you can leave a rating and review. Of course, thank you to Scott St. Pierre behind the scenes for all your help, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.